Hey everybody, this is Phat Infantry Trading. Just bringing you a few setups for tomorrow, which will be Friday, June the 20th. We'll go through these right here. We got about looks like about 25 of them somewhere in that area, and then we'll take a little special look at the cybersecurity stocks, as there's a little bit of news over the weekend with some confirmation of some missing information from several big databases, and there's talk about the Iranians potentially cyber attack type stuff, which I'm not really sure what they could even do, but you never know. You got to always stay awake, stay alive. So we'll check out the cyber stocks as well. There are not very many in setups, but there are a few of note. We'll start here with Dicom Industries. So a little bit of a different name. It did have beautiful earnings, popped up. Let's see here, almost 10%, closed at 12%. So nice power earnings gap move. It's held this gap. You can see right here coming into this pivot off the high of the day from earnings, and we're down back to the earnings VWAP. So these usually tend to come in, rest off their tap that earnings VWAP area, and then go back up. You can see we're having a little bit of a volume dry up. Relative strength still holding up good. So through that high of the day on intraday volume. This right here, this purple and red line, that's the 5-day moving average that I'm always using to track. And as you can see, it's flattening out right here. So through that high of the day, this is the intraday look. Basically, all of these tickers that I'm showing you go right through that high of the day on intraday volume, and then I buy it. And that's pretty much what I'm doing while monitoring the market at the same time to see what's occurring with things like the VIX, the Dixie, and TNX, and then of course any news alerts, those type of things. I just pay attention to my news alerts from Stock Talk Weekly and from Wall Street Engine, and then monitor those other things that I mentioned before. LMND, Lemonade, pretty popular FinTwit name, does have some distribution volume in it, but we do need to respect that 20 EMA retest off of a breakout. You can see this pivot level right here, and you can see this is the highest volume ever day, this brown line right here, where we put those in. These are highest volume. Oh, it is not highest volume ever. Let me take that off of there. It's an old line, but we do have the highest volume, price high VWAP right there, and probably all-time high. Looks good pulling back into the 20 EMA here, although again we do have some distribution volume, but we always want to pay attention to LMND. FinTwit names have been running of late, just like Oscar is right now in overnight hours. Mags, so basically the Magnificent Seven put together, and what we have here is a break of the high of the day would put us through 54, which is also this mini coil right off the 10-day, which is right where I want to see them. Those that follow me know I want it nice and tight off that 10-day. So we had the gap and go, and now we're having a volume dry up with a good relative strength. You can see the divergence right there. We really want to see it go through that high of the day on intraday volume, pushing it through that 54 little level of that coil right there off that 10-day. Looks good. GFI, so gold play. If we do see a flight return to gold, you can see the 5-day is starting to flatten out. We are underneath it, but again, we pull back to the 20. This one can gap up and down. Don't normally like to play that, but it was the best looking gold play. Still showing signs of accumulation. So if we do see a flight to gold through that high of the day on intraday volume, not quite VCP-ish, and price is a little bit loose. That can be a good thing when you have the momentum of gold going up at the same time. You fill those gaps. Bros, getting a little forgotten, a little frustration by FinTwit right here, so it looks like it's a good time, starting to tighten up its price action, volume drying up. Relative strength is weak, that's why it's sort of losing a little bit of popularity. But through that high of the day, this would be like a 3-bar break. We could get through that high of the day and see a 3-bar break through 71.40 and be on its way. Bros will tend to do that. It'll let people fall asleep and then take off. ALMU, Miscellaneous Commercial Services. Like it here off the 50. The reason why I'm interested in it, even though it moved down quite a bit, is, of course, the highest volume ever all over the place. And this one can really get hot, so you really want to play. It's that first touch of the 50 is usually a gift after a big move up. And I mean, when we're talking a big move up, we're talking 177%, right? So definitely that first return to the 50 that we're seeing right here. We have a big flush a few days back. Like this bar right here, almost an indecision candle. So through that high of the day on the volume dry up, got a chance to go right there. ALMU. Melly, nice hammer bar right here. We got a nice hammer. Like it off the 50. I mean, it's Melly, so we're going to respect it. Had a good strong move off a 2000 level, and then continuation all the way up, and now trying to put in a higher low off the gap here. So we were back to the gap pivot. You can see here it was a prior all-time high, basically just using the old fib level or that pivot level, whatever you want to treat it as. Just a pivot right there coming across. It's a good spot to put in a higher low off the 50 EMA. Structurally, that looks very good. Through the high of the day on intraday volume again. Boot, same thing. You want to pay attention to it when boot starts moving, and we're coiling up after a prior break. Love those breakouts, and then or gap up, I should say. It wasn't necessarily a breakout through a pivot or a structure, but we did have a 2 gap ups here. One before earnings, probably off of news, and then one off the earnings. It gapped up, and it's holding that gap up. Don't like these candles on earnings. They're not as solid as far as using for key levels, but it is within that earnings day candle, and we did come in and touch the rising earnings VWAP, and now we're coiling for a bigger move, which, volume dry up through 165 on intraday volume, puts us through the high of the day from Wednesday, and it puts us through that coil. Same thing here. We haven't broken the pivot on Meta, but Meta did make that big move, and now is coiling right off the 10-day. Same type of thing, looking for a 3-bar break through 707 on intraday volume through that high. I'll jump in Meta right there. Good relative strength. Put in a relative strength. New high before price this week already. For the GSRT folks, GSRT is in a double inside day. Looks really good. 5-day is trying to turn down, but right now it's okay. It's moving sideways. We'd rather it a little tighter that 10-day, but the entry was down here, like Stock Talk Weekly mentioned. They're around $10 at the nav, and but now it's coiling up for potentially a bigger move. Look at that relative strength down there. Looks good. AHR, so we got a REIT. It's coiling off the 10-day after a big move, so this is a classic explosion, consolidation, explosion higher. Why do I say higher? Look at the volume down here on the bottom. Looks really healthy. One of the more healthy looking REITs, and has a little bit of a name behind it as well, so as far as the REIT world goes. So AHR through that high, puts it again through that coil. We've got several coils tonight. Just something to note. You start seeing those patterns form. So if you see a couple of coils break, then you maybe jump in another one that's in a coil that's starting to look good as well. Soxel, so SOX, let's just look at SOX, but this one is setting up on the scans. So SOX, if you look back at it, we're into the resistance, and we've been, excuse me, my mouse is stuck here. Thank you. SOX right now, semiconductor ETF, is into prior resistance, and so we're kind of eating through that. Wouldn't surprise me if it moves sideways right now with the general market, but I got to say, look at the relative strength down here on the bottom, putting in new highs before price and relative strength, new highs as well. Just left and right, looks extremely healthy right there. So Soxel is a way to play that ETF. There are also a couple of semiconductors set up tonight, which is a positive sign as well. CEG, would like to see it a little closer to that 10-day. Might put in a third pullback here, but you can see the volume is starting to dry up. Look at the relative strength line going higher, starting to push towards that 2 o'clock time frame. We want to see that 45-degree angle. Through that high of the day on intraday volumes, just a basic pullback play off the 10 EMA. Look at the rising 5-day coming hot. So I mean, it's a smoking hot 5-day, and that's what I like to see on them. Basically buying it right there off the 5-day through the high of the day. IMAX, the volume has me interested in it. It could pull back. It's a little bit high off the 10-day, but through that high, again, breaking that coil. See how many coils, again, we have setting up tonight. Because of the volume, because of the relative strength, I'm interested in that one, even though it will be a little bit extended off the 10 EMA on the buy. Joby, Joby, normally not interested with this kind of distribution volume. I am a bit cautious on it. You can see the wicks pushing back on it. But I will say the relative strength line looks healthy. You can see the 200-day turning into a strong trend. It is reasonably tight off that 10-day. The 5-day is still turned down, but it's Joby, and that theme of the drones is strong in aerospace connection, so we want to keep an eye on that one. LAUR, Allure, it's an education play, and they had been pulling back, and the president had said some things about California and arguing with the governor, and so one of the obvious places you would cut back is in education, and I don't know at the higher learning levels, and I don't know LAUR if it's connected to that, but I do know that it's got increasing volume, relative strength line improving after that negative news, and so it looks ready to go higher. A little bit of a VCP type action, price starting to slowly tighten up. It didn't put in a higher low, but it put in this flush, which is common in those VCPs. So we'll see how it goes. But through the high of the day on Thursday on intraday volume, 5-day looking good on that one as well. NRG, got a utility play. They haven't been performing too well, but I do like this one. This is a classic mean reversion type candle play. This is what I like to see off of the power earnings gaps. Now this one, beautiful power earnings gap and opened and went straight up, which is a beautiful candle for that day, and you can see where it's acting as a key level. So right here we have a nice pullback, relative strength line moving flat like most of the utilities are going down right now. So this one holding up very well. So NRG through the high of the day puts it through the earnings VWAP, like that one as well. GEV, so we're getting into some nuclear related utility type setups. GEV through the high of the day, just a classic, riding that 10-day, price tightening up. You can almost draw a line from right here across these candles. You can see where it's trying to push higher, and basically we're going to go test 500 again, try to break that Livermore level through the high of the day again on intraday volume. Nice relative strength as well. Qubits, so we got a pullback. Oh, my mouse. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Right while I was doing this, I pinched my wire up against the side of my desk. I can't use a wireless for some reason. The way my Wi-Fi works, or my desk, I believe is too thick, and it won't allow it to penetrate to my mouse. So I have to use a wired mouse, and I just pinched it up on my chair. So Qubits, right off the earnings VWAP. Notice the gap up again. We've been seeing a lot of these. Technically speaking tonight, where they're coming into their gap and they're testing it, and those are great areas for key level pivots where you can find a pullback like this and you can manage your risk. I mean, all of these, your risk is very tight for explosive plays. Qubits can go 20% in a day. So look back over here at Qubits, that's a 23% move right here in one day. So I don't ever let mine go that short, but I'll play it through from the buy point and play it underneath it. But this is a really good looking play with Qubits. And there was news over the weekend with IO and Q, so we could see a return to that quantum type of play tomorrow. Twillo, just your basic pullback, reclaiming the 20 EMA. So this is a 20 EMA reclaim, so an undercut of the 20 EMA or 21 EMA, whatever you want to look at. I use 20. So through that high of the day, puts it through this 3-day consolidation after reclaiming the 20 EMA. We've got several closes now above that 20, and now we go back through the 10 and push back up to our all-time highs. VEEV, again, just holding that gap up. I mean, huge. It's just time, right? So it's 12% move off the power earnings gap, and it's 3 to 5 weeks is what you're looking for. I mean, it can go faster, but usually you need at least 3 weeks, and we've hit that point now. And so all of these that are in these tight consolidations and volume drying up are nice low volume pullbacks off of those power earnings gaps. NBIS, not the best looking setup, but it's NBIS, right? This thing continues to move up ever since FinTwit and institutions got behind it. I was big on it back here. I noted it, the institutional accumulation, and I was just waiting on the pullback. I missed the buy on NBIS. That pains me, so I'm looking to get back in it. So you can see the pullback, little flag back here off of, somewhere in that area. Little flag back here off of that nice strong move. First touch of the 10 EMA, went straight back up. It's just consolidating. Again, the mini coils are a big theme tonight. So through that high of the day, puts it through $50, Livermore level, and on its way. CCL, so cruise line theme, dropped a little bit, with the uncertainty out there. I think we're past FOMC now, and all we're dealing with now is the tariffs. So these guys kind of showed their hands, if you will. As long as we don't see a huge spike in oil, so keep your eyes monitoring that. We had another gap up, consolidation, explosion, and then now we're consolidating again. I like CCL here, and we have earnings coming up, and it doesn't appear that consumers are stopping their spending anytime soon. So I would expect maybe a surprise earnings here from the cruise line. So looking to get in that one and ride it into earnings through that high of the day again on intraday VWAP. Nvita, you got to respect Nvita. Obviously, that's why SOX is setting up as well. It is a little bit high for me, so I would rather go the Soxel route because it's a little bit high, extended off the 10 EMA. But again, mini coil after explosion, we've had consolidation through these mini coils. Can look good. That's just Nvita if you want to play the 2XF. A-Lab sitting right here at the $100 level. We got a potential breakout right here on A-Lab. This one could really go so through 100 and take off right there. Good volume. Look at the good skyscraper volume starting to show, and relative strength line looking good. Had a great day on Wednesday when the rest of the market was struggling. It was up 7%. That's a sign of strength that it's trying to tell you it wants to go higher. Nice close at the end of the day as well. Avago, a little bit weak. Kind of wanting to hold off on that one. AVGX, 2X if you're interested in it. Could run with the semis. AI, a little bit of cyber related here. Not a whole lot, but there is some in it. But through the high of the day, and this is one it just feels like. It feels like it's time for this AI play to get back in the game with the other AI plays. It's done its pullback. It's basing off the 50 EMA. It's been a commonplace for it if you look back in its history. 50 EMA is where it pulls back to. Not saying this is a long-term hold, but through that high of the day, we should see some movement on AI. And then WGMI, so as far as the Bitcoin stuff goes, this thing, you can lose a lot of money if you're not careful. So, I mean, this thing will really move. But I'm watching WGMI right here. That's my pick. I was looking at Riot as well. Also HUD, but I didn't keep HUD on the list because WGMI has more potential in my opinion. Although the relative strength line is going down, but Bitcoin has been struggling of late. Labu, so with the genomics moving right here, this is a very simple ETF that is 3X that you can play through the high of the day. Again, I mean, it's volatile play, but it's back through that high of the day on intraday volume, puts it back through the 50 EMA. The 5-day, if you look down at the intraday, it is starting to flatten out. It looks a little steep right there, but it is trying to make that turn. So this could be like an early entry, break through the 5-day, pull back into the rising 5-day, and then take off. It does appear the genomics want to go higher. Phat, software play with its first touch of the 50. Don't know. I don't like, obviously, how it sold off right here off of earnings. Probably going to hold off on that one. Matter of fact, delete that one right now. Serve. So Serve struggled for quite a while here. Been pulling back, and it's got some rough volume. But I do like that it's holding this earnings VWAP and this 200-day right here, this 200-day moving average. So I'll be watching that one through the high of the day. And then Riot, I mentioned, the reason why I kept Riot is because of the volume. I mean, that's beautiful volume down there. Looks purely like accumulation for a move higher. This is the 30-week moving average that's holding, and we've got the $10 Livermore level. So a break through that high of the day on intraday volume puts it through the 30-week, through the $10 Livermore level. And, frankly, Bitcoin, I think everybody believes it's going to go higher at some point. It's just a matter of watching Bitcoin. You treat it like a commodity. And just the same way I play gold. When you start seeing it starting to build momentum, then you look for the best plays you can find in that commodity and you buy them. And that's what I'm looking at here with Riot and potentially WGMI, although it's a lot more volatile. All right, that's let's look at the couple of cyber plays. Just a little bonus footage here. We've got Microsoft. So Microsoft is a huge cyber security play. And unless they get found as a guilty party or something with that news release from this weekend, then you would expect Microsoft to push even into higher all-time highs, which is what it did on Wednesday. It hit all-time highs while the market was struggling or pulling back. RPD is not in a great setup. It's below the 50 EMA, but I like the way it's starting to turn green on the right. So they see that volume pattern changing color from red to green, showing signs of some accumulation. And with that weekend news, we could see a bump right here, put it back above that 50 and on its way. So, excuse me, I want to keep an eye on RPD. There's not a lot of great setups tonight for the cybersecurity. PLTR, of course, coming into that 5-day, and PLTR looks like one of those stocks that just wants to ride the 5-day. I don't think it comes back to the 10, especially with any kind of cybersecurity news like we have. AI, we mentioned earlier, we already looked at, down off that 50 EMA, looking for institutional involvement to come back in. Again, we have the cybersecurity news. So that's it for tonight, guys. Appreciate you watching the video. If you don't mind, like and retweet it, whatever. Get the news out. People can follow our plays, and you can get the alerts from me in the Stock Talk Insiders Discord. Thank you.